Ever since the 16th century, when the church was canonizing a saint, a person would be appointed to be the skeptic, or argue against the potential saint. This person was known as the devil's advocate. Today, I will play the part of the devil's advocate. I'm Nick Boratenski.
This is Kyle Hyman. Welcome to our first devil's advocate, starring the one and only Nick Boratenski.
I like how that sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, premise of this, hopefully maybe a regular thing. I come up with a concept. You might throw out the opposing viewpoint. Not so much of a debate, but just a discussion.
Yeah, and it's always nice to try and see, what the other side is, where the other side is coming from.
Yeah. I don't know that this particular topic has two sides, or even if there's anybody that has presented one side. But here's the thing I want to throw out here is this concept of community. And we talk about with theology of the body that the Trinity is a community, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and we're made in the image and likeness of the Trinity. So we too are called to community. And the most obvious version of this is the family, the husband and wife, and they bear children. But beyond that, we are called to be the body of Christ. We are called to be a part of a community, not just to contribute, but also to receive, not just to receive, but also to contribute, and to be a part of something bigger than just ourselves. And I think that is easiest in two situations, one being high school, and the other, if you go to college, that college experience, because you are in a place, a physical location together with people that are in a very similar situation. Usually high school, college, you don't have spouses, children. If you do have a job, it's not like for your livelihood.
Yeah.
Like if you got fired the next day, you're not out on the streets. You've got some kind of a safety net, if you will. And it's kind of this, you're all doing the similar thing of studying something, maybe the exact same classes. So you have this opportunity to be around other people that are in the same situation, and community becomes very easy. Not necessarily automatic, but it's not hard to find people that you have something in common with. You graduate from college, though, and you get thrown into, say, a job situation where now everybody's in different situations. And I think this is part of the harder thing about ministering to young adults is because they're so scattered in different vocations and situations, and to say that there's a one-size-fits-all ministry for young adults is very difficult. But also, it becomes very hard for us, and I don't think this is just for young adults, but into marriage and all the way to seniors probably, to find that community and be a part of it and to seek it out is something that takes a lot of effort, but is important. And so one of the things that I want to argue today is the need to seek out community and the need that we have to help foster that, whether it be in our parishes, in our communities, to say, what can I do to help build community? Is it invite people over to my house, reaching out to people, doing events at the parish, whatever, to help build that community, potlucks, picnics, pool parties, whatever. It doesn't have to be religious stuff, but we need to be together and enjoy each other's company. And sometimes that's going to be stepping outside of our comfort zone of like, these people are not like me. They're in a different situation. They're either a way different age or in a way different place of life, single versus married and kids, but to make that bridge and make that community happen.
Yeah, and see, I wouldn't necessarily argue the need, because there is the need for it. I would probably just argue that it's really not as difficult as most people might think.
Okay.
I think that's where I'd come from with this. Because we do put up that barrier. We put up that idea of, once we're at this age, once we're out of college, it's really difficult to find people who are like you or find that community. When if you actually just put yourself, out of your comfort zone, you're going to be able to find that pretty quickly. I mean, most people say, around right after college is your loneliest time, right? But I mean, personally, I'd say I've never been less lonely at this age. I've actually been able to find a community that I connect with even better than I ever did in college or in high school.
How did you do it?
It was actually originally through a church group /sports.
Okay.
So and they kind of ended up combining together, and more people just kind of kept coming into our little community as we continued to do more things. So honestly, we all had our connection at the base of our faith, and then we all had the connection of love for sports. It really doesn't take too many connections to get there. You really just have to kind of connect at least on one simple thing. And if you can find that in your faith or even sports, like, it's easy to kind of grow from there. Because we had some of the most diverse personalities you'll ever see in this world, but we made it work. Because we had that root. We had that root of our faith, or we had that root of the sports. Because some of the people in our group, they weren't Catholic, but we got along with them just because, you know, we were genuine with them, we were good people with them, and we all had that one thing connecting us. So really all it takes is the one thing. And it's not even necessarily pushing yourself out of your comfort zone if it's something you enjoy doing, whether it's going to praise and worship as the Catholic part of it, or if it's going and playing volleyball or basketball or something like that. So I really don't think it's as difficult as some might think it is. I think it's difficult in taking that first step towards it if you're uncomfortable with meeting new people.
Right. So do you find yourself more on the introvert spectrum or extrovert?
I'm very much an introvert.
Really?
Yes. Most people wouldn't guess that, but
Yeah.
I really enjoy my me time. But so it did take a little bit to take that step out of my comfort zone and go meet new people. But once you meet that one person who can kind of help you along with that within that group, you're good to go, and you'll start to kind of spread your wings throughout the entire group.
So since college, you've moved several times into completely different parts of the country. And so every time you drop into a new place, do you have like a routine of like, this is how I find my people?
Yeah, pretty much. I look for where I can play sports.
Okay,
so I look for any leagues or anything like that. And I try and join one of those. And then I do look for either youth ministry or young adult ministry, because a lot of young adults are actually helping run youth ministries.
Yeah.
And so that's honestly more so where I can find my fit, is helping out with the youth ministry and meeting young adults through there. Because then I know we're having that connection. And normally they're people more so, like you said, in my situation, where they don't necessarily have a family. I mean, some young youth ministers have like 3 kids already out of college, and it's incredible. It's one a year, but you know, be fruitful, right? But yeah, so like I kind of do have that routine of trying to do those two things, and everything kind of just expands from there. So, I mean, I'm 25 years old, and I've never had more friends.
But would you agree that having that community is important, if not necessary, to your faith life?
I think it's 100% necessary for my faith life, and honestly for, you know, my personal life, because if you just try and go through life alone, even outside of the faith world, that's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very draining, and it can lead to either like, you know, depression or anxiety. Like that stuff will stem from being alone. You need those people to be with, even if you're an introvert. Like I found that I have been a much better person in my faith life and in my personal life just by having the community, because they all push me to be better and to be that good person.
The community. Like you're the community.
Yep.
Like
Like
I put
my
that in
YouTube
quotes. The community.
Yeah, that's why I named my YouTube channel that.
Yeah.
Because the community is really what turned my life around.
See, I think you agree with me more than you admit.
Yeah, I told you I agree with you on the necessity of it, just not the difficulty of it.
Yeah. And I think it can depend on your state in life, like where you are, your personality, and the community that is available. And if
you just have to be open to it, though.
You work here at Redeemer Radio with a lot of young, hip people, you know?
Yeah, totally.
If everybody here was, you know, out of touch, it'd be...
I'm the 25-year-old who has, you know, 5 moms just at work, so it's great.
I think one time we were walking, you called me uncle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uncle Kyle. Did that make you feel old? Hopefully not. I mean, you are an uncle, so...
Yeah, but none of my nieces or nephews have beards.
Yeah, but I mean, even in our community, though, we had people who were married and had kids. We had people who were single, and then we had people who were dating. And, you know, it was really from all different walks of life. But, like, when they would bring the baby, everybody would help out with the baby, hold the baby, you know, do a little bit of babysitting so the parents could kind of have some fun. I mean, we didn't let that stop us from having fun and getting together and doing things together. Like, even the people with the kids were like, yeah, let's do it. Like, it's a little bit more difficult for us, but yeah, let's do it. Like, they were even pushing themselves to make sure that they stayed within that community. So, I mean, even when you're coming from different walks of life, it's still possible.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Nick, for Devil's Advocate. Are we on the same page then?
I think we'll agree to disagree on this one, Kyle.